Hello and welcome to another episode of Family DynamiKs. I'm Ed.
I'm Katherine.
Hi, it's Liz.
And John.
We're getting together on this episode to kind of like give you an understanding of how we've been doing these podcasts. We've got guests that we've had on, which are mostly all family members.
They all are family, aren't they?
Well,
related.
I mean, siblings first,
Different
and
combos.
then parents, but then there's like nieces and nephews, whatever.
Right.
Luke and Ethan, get out of here.
No, get in
No,
here.
they
We
were
need
great.
everybody
They were a lot
in
of
here. Yeah.
And then we've done an episode where we kind of went over the broader entire picture of all of the siblings.
Right,
and,
the family tree
the family
episode.
tree.
I recently just had a friend listen to it, and they're like, wait, you got confused while you were explaining it. Like, so are we supposed to keep this straight, you wackadoodler? And I'm like, yes, that was the plan.
I'm not sure if it was as helpful as we thought it was going to be in concept.
I think the graphic was very helpful.
I did like the graphic a lot.
Yes.
It was very cute with the little names on there.
I will say that is, a few years old, that picture. So we all look a little.
Oh, it's archival, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
John was a borderline toddler.
I do want to still put up like a whole run of all the old Christmas photos.
Oh, yeah.
Because they are classic. I mean, Photoshop before Photoshop, where mom would literally sit at the table and like cut people out and like make a collage.
Well,
and,
that's
like,
what's so funny about early collaging. It's like you destroyed an entire photo to get one person's head out of that photo.
It's not like she had duplicates of those photos. The only place that they currently ever exist again, is in that chopped up version that she made. You're like, oh,
I don't think that's accurate. I think that is the fantasy version of how you think it worked. Our dad was legitimately a real photographer, could take pictures, probably could develop them before he knew our mom, and absolutely knew how to make more prints of the negatives of those photos. So
he did absolutely not make multiple copies of photos back
this
then.
was Grandmary just wanting to do this as
Grandmary, our mother, not Grandmary. Grandmary to your children.
Okay, sorry,
though.
just mom.
So this is
Our
literally mom on of course, like the 21st, decide, oh my gosh, I got to do the Christmas letter and Christmas collage. And going to that photo drawer when you used to go to Photomat, there were no free duplicates. So it was.
I mean, we still probably have all the negatives somewhere. So yes, photos could be reprinted, Ed. I'm just saying no plan in advance.
Dad did not do two photos because you might use this for the Christmas collage.
No, I'm not saying that there were extras printed. I'm saying that if there were someone who knew how to do that, they wouldn't destroy the only copy that existed. We have like hundreds of negatives in the house. They're just useless and not in an album anywhere. Because what are you going to do?
Get on it, Ed. Start making real ones. Yeah, you broached this topic now.
It is on my radar.
Not to be real, but I will be interested to hear about the first setup, because I feel like all those negative boxes are our father's lovely pictures of him somewhere else with not himself in it. So I'll be very interested to
You
hear
mean
about,
from his travels? Like he went to England and just took like rolls and rolls and rolls of pictures.
which I totally agree with. But
Like here's the architecture.
So yeah, I'll be interested to see when we find negatives of not that. But maybe.
And there's also negatives versus if you developed your film, instead of it, you develop actual slides of your film. So then there are lots of slides in the attic as well.
They did have slides. That's right. And they had that little viewfinder that when you push the slide down hard enough, it would light up through it. Mm-hmm. And I do remember quite a few pictures, what you were talking about, John, which were of his travels there's a great photo that he took, I still think is an amazing picture. And it was nuns pushing people, I think, in wheelchairs to Lourdes.
There you go.
Really?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Lourdes. That's one of the
That I
big
still remember
trips.
as a kid being like, that is an incredible photo. And I could be wrong, but I think Dad took it. And I was like, you took it, Dad? So that will be
God,
very...
you're making me like want to go to the house and crack open all the...
No, you are not allowed. I threw away all my duplicates. Are not allowed.
What?
Oh, yeah. My daughter and I started a project of like trying to do, photo albums. We were like, stage
much
one,
work.
get rid of all these duplicates that we don't need. And
That
then
maybe
stage
other
two,
family members would have wanted?
immediately after we started this process, Ginny called me and was like, oh, that really cute picture that I had framed of Sarah and Adam, in the Winnie the Pooh and Tigger costume.
Oh,
no,
it's
was it
cutest,
Winnie the
yeah.
Pooh? Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, yeah. And they're just sitting there beaming at the camera like adorable. I need another copy. And I thought, I literally just threw it away. I have one, and
What?
it's because we were going to put everything in albums, and then
Have you done that?
Well, that's what I was saying.
got
Stage
interrupted.
2 has not happened.
But look, the only thing is,
Photo albums.
because we haven't even talked about digital. So, right.
Yeah.
All the digital is
want
still,
all the physical stuff that we don't have in digital. Right. That's very important. We got to do all that. Then you could have just sent it to Jenny. It would have been great. Because it obviously would have been super high quality. And it's very easy to do that.
Super
Not
easy
exactly.
high
But
quality archiving.
getting rid of anything physical that you have of pictures.
You
is
already
like,
have it.
why do that? Maybe
I don't know, because it's so many.
Someone's got to help me with just. I have
Jesus.
recently thought I need to get into the cloud. Where is the cloud? How do I get into it? I don't know.
I watched Ron's Gone Wrong, so I'm ready. I can tell you.
Thank you. Okay, so I need your help because I want to get in there and start doing the
No, we're not doing this.
every few months. Just pick 1,000 photos because some place they'll print them for 10 cents. I'm sure half of them are useless.
Oh, sorry. Your point is that you want to get into the cloud so you can get out of the cloud.
Yes.
Okay,
I want.
just to
I
make
want
sure.
physical
I want
photos.
both. I want everything that I physically have to be backed up digitally, and everything that I have just digitally also printed out and in a photo album.
Because-
I'm never going to get to this, apparently, though.
It relates to our podcast. I mean, it's archival. It's like why we even started this podcast because we realized there were stories. I'm sure all of you can relate that you have family members that are getting up there in the years and passing away along with the family lore. So we realized we need to get Mom on this podcast and
Get some history.
And we also realized that we all remember things differently or don't remember them at all. Or
Hey, wait a minute. Was that directed at me?
no, I mean, I think it's because there's such a big age gap. I mean, there's
Or-
18 years. John was not there for 18 of the years like a James would remember a story.
Remember them differently, don't remember them, or have never heard. You
Never
all
heard,
know
yeah.
that our dad, at some point before he met our mom, was a private eye photographer because he owned a camera.
No. What are
He
you talking
got out
about?
of the Navy.
He was a dick.
He wasn't a successful actor yet. He was working, he was trying, and my understanding is that he owned a camera, so he was able to photograph for a private eye.
What are you talking
What are you
about?
talking about? Yeah, that's what
How
I'm
did
saying.
you even hear that?
I'm sure he would have told our mom about that, but I think I remember him telling me when I was like 14.
Oh my God,
I
I
actually
can't.
think
yeah.
we found a business card.
Ooh.
What about that
'Cause
blue
you know
trunk
what?
of his? Did anybody ever break into that thing? Is it still locked?
It's not locked.
I was about to be like, it's gone. And then I was like, oh, I think I'm using that blue trunk.
As like a coffee table or something?
No.
to put your feet
No, for
on?
your stuff as a trunk.
Oh, you put things in it.
like things that I don't do anything with.
Right.
Yes.
But I do think the stuff in the blue trunk got consolidated to Dad's trunk, which is downstairs and being used as a coffee table and a
You mean-
footrest.
Whatever trunk that
Pop-Op's
is.
trunk.
Yeah, pop-ups trunks.
You mean pop? What did
I
I say
do-
before that I got in trouble
Pop-up.
for?
Pop-up.
Pop up. Oh, like a
Pop-up.
pop-up book.
Gosh, that would be really scary at a funeral. Hi, Pop. Oh.
Oh my God. Well, I remember now Dad revealing that juicy tidbit about him being a private eye
I have never heard this.
photographer.
Never.
Catching salacious details
Who
and
knows?
cheating people, which would be so not something he would want to do. I think it was more related to like insurance fraud.
Yeah, I think it's like insurance fraud.
Like,
not like
you think you can't
marriages or
walk,
something,
but
yeah.
click, 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 there he is walking somewhere.
Yeah, that just went from salacious to boring. So I went and took photos of this house that is flooded.
Yes,
It went from
Or not flooded. It
went
was a
from
lie.
it went from rear view window to rear view mirror in my car.
Rear Window, I think is the,
Oh,
it's
my
the
Lord.
Hitchcock movie
Yeah,
is
rear window.
Rear
to-
window, but it went from, well, it wasn't even, Rear Window was there because he's like an actual
Rear
photographer.
View Window.
That's, feel free to get it wrong if you want.
That's what he
God,
said.
I did
Yeah,
get it wrong.
This-
Thank you.
This is how you continue to get it wrong.
Okay, sorry,
But
go
it
on.
was Hail Caesar. That's really what we're talking about.
What? Hail
Which is
Caesar.
a Coen Brothers movie.
I am
Look
not
at that
remembering-
up.
I think it
I'm
is.
not remembering at the moment, but I remember George Clooney was in it. It
Yep.
was
Oh yeah.
old-time
Oh no, I
Hollywood.
do. I think it is a Coen Brothers. Oh my gosh,
Yes,
you guys are
nice.
so funny. All right, so back to this podcast. The plan for this podcast and future podcasts, we were basically the future plan was and still is to also do topic driven episodes
Right.
where we come in and we really just talk about one specific thing.
That is going to be impossible because we like to get off topic. And
as evidenced by this episode.
I've said it. I'm trademarking it now, but my book title is I Digress. So that's going to happen.
Well, that'll be one thing that will happen in the future. So definitely the two things that we're setting up is particularly mom, but also older family members, maybe her sister, maybe dad's sister Judy, if we can get her on, come in and really talk about some of the old history that we know a little bit.
I'll say this. Yeah. It's any family member that's willing to do it because we know that some are not.
Oh,
true.
I mean, I feel like that's a direct call out about Eric
to
and
you,
Sarah,
but that's fine.
I mean, whatever. It is.
There is enough of us, so that's fine. In fact, this weekend or last weekend, we had a huge family gathering.
Oh right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, almost everybody. We were missing a couple of James's kids, but James and his family came down.
There were some people that were there for this party that weren't there for the last person that turned 50 in the fam. I'm not naming names.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, our older brother, we'd actually not seen physically in person for almost 2 years since COVID.
Yeah.
Or our sister-in-law, Michelle, and our nephew, JP. So it had been quite a while.
And typically usually, they would come down I would say twice a year. Would they come down?
2 or 3 times. Easter, always. Sometimes during the Christmas holidays. Yes, Easter always.
John was making faces.
If you say so.
I know so.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of pictures of them
Thanksgiving
at
my house, usually.
Usually, yeah.
So, pretty consistent.
And sometimes the August birthdays, they would try and come down during the summer for an August birthday.
But COVID, we had not seen him for 2 years, which is crazy to think, but that was true. And the oldest grandchild, our niece, Marie, basically said she was coming into town and bringing her boyfriend, who none of us had met, Nick, and so she wanted us to all meet him.
Right. And so, it was surprising that James and the family were going to come down. So the two that were basically the only two that were missing, if I'm getting this right, is his second daughter, Katherine, and his son, William. So the two.
Wait, you weren't there?
What? Shut up. I was there.
Katherine, you.
No. Oh, you're the worst. Oh my God. No. Katherine, our niece. James's daughter, Katherine.
And his other son, William.
Who we a lot of times call little Katherine, which is ridiculous because she's not little.
Yeah, she's taller than you.
Taller than me, a grown-up woman, a doctor, just hilarious.
Definitely little Katherine. Continue.
I'm sure her pediatric patients will pick up on that and start calling her little Katherine.
I don't think so.
Little Dr. Katherine.
So basically, really.
I think it was everybody else was there.
Yeah. Oh, Jack wasn't there.
Oh, Jack wasn't there. Correct.
Rosie and Kirk.
Okay, so we were missing 3.
Yeah, but that's for us pretty good turnout. But we got a phone call that seemed to put an air about it that Rosie and I.
This was your own speculation, but go on.
Definitely. For some reason, we really thought this was going to be an engagement announcement between Nick and Marie, because we're like, how old is she? How long have they been dating? Oh, that makes sense. She's bringing him to introduce him to Mom.
Which really, they were just on vacation is all it was. In town.
But we definitely read more into it as the two aunts and theorized on it and prepared champagne in the refrigerator that stayed in the refrigerator because it was not that. It was literally just a get together. So
interestingly, the aunts took that perspective, and I'm imagining if I'm Nick, I've never met the 20-something other people that are related to my girlfriend. I'm like, yeah, let's meet up, let's have a party when we go out on vacation. We'll be gonna go to a restaurant and we'll do this, and then we'll just go to that party. Oh, there's a lot of people. Maybe he didn't read the room. When he said, yeah, let's have a party, you and me, the first time we're meeting after 4 years, no one's going to think that's a significant moment. I'm not going to be doing things.
Don't worry about it.
Well, and to be clear, Marie had introduced him to some of her immediate family. I think
they knew him.
Her dad, mom, and maybe 1 or 2 of the sisters. I'm not sure, but it was all the other little families of our big family. And so. But what we realized, and it's tough because then, they were out here on a vacation for a couple days, but we, only got them that one time. They met up, her and her sisters and stuff. Mm-hmm. They did other things. But we're such a big group that it's like, well, you got to knock them out. How do you do that with a party? And then you say goodbye. That's it.
And then you're done. You've covered it.
And like I said, the champagne then stayed in the refrigerator. Rosie's like, what the hell? And I'm like, and Virginia made a cake. So backtracking a little bit, it was like, okay, great, you're all coming to town. Let's have a family dinner.
Which also, you had been out of town with Rosemary, like pretty much leading up to that.
I do an annual wine weekend.
Also, please don't sell that so easily. Oh, you're coming to town. Let's have a dinner. 75 text messages later.
Right. Well,
right?
a little bit.
Group texting and trying to figure out. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I mean, also be honest with yourself. Apparently it was, James tells you guys, hey, we're thinking, he's going to come out. We're going to have this party. Could one of you guys host it? 2 seconds later, in both of your minds, you're like, it's apparently an engagement party.
Oh, for sure we
but
did.
Then that was not, you didn't tell the rest of us this.
No.
So then
it did spread to the other girls. Ginny and I were privy to this idea.
Well, I'm just saying in the month-long lead up, or however long it was.
It was multiple weeks, like at least 2.
What an irresponsible man you think Nick is, that he is completely unplanned, no idea where this party's going to be, and then he's going to propose.
No, not that he is going to propose that
it
he
would have been
already
this
had.
weekend, obviously, but I'm trying to make it even more complicated, make
More
him propose
ridiculous.
at the party.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what were you guys even thinking? Because it was like, it's going to be so as if Marie's parents and family knew or didn't know, but the rest of us were going to not know, and they were going to surprise us.
Yes.
That is what they were thinking.
This is
Who are you?
Let
Why
me
would
tell
that
you
be how it goes?
This is Rosie and Mai's theory, which Virginia, who loves The Bachelor, was completely on board with.
Oh, I see how it is.
So
The
that they
Bachelor got
had
involved.
already gotten engaged like the week before at probably some place in New York where they
Somewhere
live.
fancy.
That somewhere fancy and meant a lot to them. Now they're coming to the West Coast to tell the matriarch of the family, Mom, and then celebrate with all of us. This is not a mind-blowing theory, John.
It makes zero sense.
How does that make zero sense?
A matriarch, as if we're so serious that you have to come out and also surprise.
Yes.
So, but no one should also. She's not the Queen of England. We wouldn't do it like this. You're basically insane.
Okay. To the point is that when James called and said, "Hey, so we're going to do this family dinner,"
but I'm keeping a lot of secrets.
Right, exactly. We're like, what kind of family dinner? It's dead silence. We're like, read into that too. So
Vegan? No, not vegan.
No.
Okay.
So,
I don't know. James can be very mysterious. I could imagine him keeping a
That is
secret
true.
if he wanted
But
to.
just about this, it made no sense. But continue.
well, so it was basically whose house is going to be at because it's going to be 25 plus people. So it's Rosie or mine.
Yeah, because Grandma Mary's house is a push for any more than like
Full-grown
immediate
adults now.
Yeah, it's
that many people.
It's fine, but on the other hand, and there's also Ginny, though she was, busy, or it wouldn't have been the best timing for her. But yeah, then it was a big, the Rosie Liz who was going to host ended up being a big question.
Oh, yeah, Vaz. So only because Rosie and I were going on our wine weekend, which is annual.
It's
I
okay.
knew you had a call. I could send you a call about this. How is it not annual?
Let me tell you why. Now, I
geez.
don't know. I'm not in charge of your schedule. On the other hand,
It's biannual.
yeah. Okay.
meaning there's more than one a year.
All right. So are we
There's
being
lots of weekends.
specific that separate from like a Palm Springs weekend?
Yes!
That this is the only trip per year that is a wine trip.
No. It's the wine weekend crew is a specific crew. So it's this group gets together
this
and
group,
does
but also this thing.
activity once a year. And then there are other groups I also do wine weekends with and things I do in Palm Springs for weekends. Not the same crew.
We're gonna go back to Liz for the actual
let me
answer.
answer.
Let her answer.
Here's the
she's,
deal.
She's got the plan.
But just the one clarification that apparently Ed and Katherine deserve is that I'm already establishing this is a separate group who do multiple trips together. Mm-hmm. So therefore, right and wrong, you guys. But all right, here we go, Liz. Feel free to explain how you're
so
crazy.
this annual wine weekend is spearheaded by usually our sister Rosemary, and definitely her girlfriend Stacy is the main person.
Oh, that's why it happens. I didn't even realize they were the main thing.
And it's you kind of go Northern California, and you go. We normally go just for a long weekend, but this time we went Thursday through Sunday. And one of the days truly is a wine tour. Like we get a driver and we go to 3 to 4 wineries. And so that's what makes this the wine weekend versus just a weekend away. It's like we
That
truly
involves
are
wine.
visiting wineries.
Well, and separately, because there has been an off and on with this group Palm Springs trip.
Correct.
So, but that's not
That's
wine.
separate.
No,
wine
we
related.
drink wine a
A
lot.
lot of
And
consumption
there's
of
a
wine.
wine safari that you've
No.
been on that's not
Oh
a
my
weekend.
God,
long
that's true.
trip,
That was
but it's a
one
lot
day.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
just
yeah,
saying
wow.
that
That was
there are
Rosemary's
events that are related
That are
to
wine
this
related.
you
That
know,
was Rosemary's
on the outside
birthday,
you
yeah.
hear about.
Yes.
Yeah, not helpful. But continue.
Just throw another wine thing in there.
Yes. So, but this is the actual really traditional wine weekend. So we were going on that and coming back on Sunday. And now it's like we can't have a leisurely come back because now
Right, because James springs this on you.
we're committed to having this family dinner at one of our houses. And I had found out from my work that I was then going to New York on the Tuesday. So it was like, what the hell?
Ridiculous? Yeah.
Kind of. So Rosie, I assumed Rosie would have it at her house.
Well, and you had a great reason because
Oh, right. Because actually James Michelle had never been there because
Oh,
they
that's a
bought
good-
it
yeah.
during basically right
only-
before the pandemic.
Have they been there even a year?
they've only been moved in a year.
Yeah,
turns out.
just, just
'Cause they
about
did
a
some
year.
work on it or
Somehow
whatever.
a very long year. It does not seem like it's only been a year.
Because they're more settled into their house than I am into mine after 15
Don't
years.
be ridiculous, but continue.
Still, I mean, it's what they do for a living. So they're
Rosemary's going to button it up before
Right.
She's going to really make sure everything's right.
So they'd never been to that house. So that was sort of I thought, a selling point. And
And a good dodge for you.
the time change had happened.
Oh, right. It was
And
the same day as the time
they have
change.
incredible view, and now we're going to get extra sun. I had a lot of
Time change.
yes, I had a lot of logic.
Nothing.
Liz logic, Liz logic.
I think that's you had your guns ablazing of
You're like,
reasons
oh, wait,
why.
this party's during the golden hour. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Thank
totally.
you, time
I mean,
change.
I don't want to make it sound like you don't want to host things. You
Yes,
host
I
things
host all the
the
time.
time. You love it, and you guys are very good at it, and have a great house for it.
Practically a ding dong or a Twinkie. You're a hostess so much.
Oh my God!
I was like, where is he going with that? A ding dong or a Twinkie?
Well, you
your
are a
hostess?
ding dong, but in the hostess way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my
Twinkie has
God! I mean,
No,
if
that's
there's
So I had to throw ding dong in because I couldn't just solo out Twinkie.
Now, wait
and
a
get
minute.
fully misdirected by
Just
that. Go ahead.
if only you could see what she's wearing right now, which is all black with some white stripes.
is a
That's
ding
practically
dong.
ding
she
dong.
does look like
She
a
is a
ding
ding
dong.
dong.
Or no, the cupcake. What's that cupcake?
Ding dong.
I do look like a hostess cupcake.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I mean, look, if there's an opportunity for a pun, Ed is not going to pass it by. A little word
Never,
play.
never
No.
leave that untapped, Fred. So, so I sort of assumed Rosie was.
Unplumbed.
Oh, jeez.
Listen, I will pun as hard as I can, as long as I can, as often as I can.
I think
That's how it
good.
goes.
That's
Go for
we
it.
count on you for that.
So I did think it was going to be at the Fogg's house, and I made that assumption, and then I was told that no, it's not going to work.
Yeah, there was a moment where it was like, yes, it will be, and then it became, no, it won't be.
For sure, the first official text was that it's at your house, Liz's house.
Right. But there was background stuff going on that I had assumed their house. Then I was told no. So then I sent out the text that said it would be at my house. And of course, Mark, my husband, who we need to get in on this podcast because
Yeah, we do for sure.
very soon, as an in-law to you guys and to my husband, he, is always on board, even if it's begrudgingly a little bit at first. He's like, oh my gosh, what? You're going to be gone all weekend? And then we're leaving like 24 hours later. He's like, what are you doing to us? I'm like, we'll order in food. It'll be fine. And in the
I mean, he does like to host, but he actually he's like you. He'll make it more work than it needs to be because you guys like to do
yes,
it.
but I was like, we don't need to do that. And John kept being like, don't do that. So we were not going to do that.
Sure.
And then Virginia said she would make a cake. Came back to the assumption that we thought it was an engagement. Ginny did put a heart on one of the cakes.
Oh.
Did you see that?
Morgan put it on. Yeah, they brought two
I
cakes,
just
two
assumed
round.
that was a Morgan thing, but
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't realize it was related to
I think it got undercover at some point, whether,
It was
because
it's just a heart. Don't worry about it.
Ginny made one of them, her daughter Morgan made the other, the heart was on the one that Morgan made, so it's like, well, then you don't need a reason. But
She
I
just
don't
put a
know
heart
if
on
that
it.
all was true.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I didn't
For what
even
it's
put that
worth,
together.
That first text that came out that said that it's going to be at your house, Liz, Mom was surprised by that. She thought it was going to be at her house.
How did she
that
still
she
think-
was going to be throwing this party, and
But
I
I
guess
had
chicken
texted
soup
her-
for everyone.
Chicken soup. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, how do you...
In a styrofoam bowl? What?
Yeah.
All right.
Big
One
party.
time when it was also fine.
No.
I forget, when did that happen? Because there was a moment where it was like she approached, our mother approached both Ed and I, that was like, well, we're hosting. And I was like, who? What?
No,
But I
we're
forget
not.
when in the timeline that happened. But
Yeah, it was prior to the text that came out from you that like Marie's thinking about coming out for a party, and then there,
Oh, yeah,
and then
I
there
think
was
it was-
a day in between.
Oh,
It was-
yeah, there was an initial just like Maria's coming out this time and we should
a
all get
couple
together.
weeks beforehand, yeah. And I
Before the
think
party idea.
eventually that was our mother's immediate assumption, was
Yeah.
that
She
she
would
had
have
to
to
host.
host.
It was
I
like
have to
no
figure out
one
how to have
said
the
that.
house clean. We got to
ever.
get the outside chairs clean. We got to, she had a whole list that she was getting started on. She's like, I got 3 weeks to do all this. And you're like, number one, you're not alone, and number two, you're not doing any of those things.
it.
And
So-
number 4, she left it till the last minute because I only sent that text out like a
Yeah.
few days before. So her whole
Yeah, it was
list
within
was
a week, I
gonna.
would guess.
Well, she had some Bible study stuff that she had to get ready
yeah,
beforehand, and she was doing some other things beforehand. It would have gotten on her calendar.
So, but back to the cake. I thought Jenny reached out at a certain point and said like, well, should I do one of them white?
What?
Are you serious?
I thought that happened. Or
With
I,
two
or
rings
I think she,
on it? Like what? Is
or
she-
did she definitely thought it.
Should I bring some Martinelli's for the kids to toast
No.
with as well?
Well, she should remember
We're
there's
not
like
100% sure what this party is, so if you put 2 rings on it, bring 3 extras that are different colors just in case we have to call it an Olympic cake.
Oh, God.
Quickly
What?
change it
There are
up.
no Olympics right now. Back to your Martinelli's apple sparkling cider. I probably have 7 in my refrigerator. Every
Well-
holiday, they're like left.
yes, they are
They
also
show up and
left,
don't get drunk.
Yeah, they're also left at Rosie's house, so it would have been not a problem.
And every Thanksgiving, I'm like, nobody bring any. I've still got them from last year.
Plenty.
How long are they good for? Forever?
No, about a year or 2.
What
Who
hap-
cares if these kids drink flat Martinelli's?
I mean, I
Just
don't.
drink it.
It's juice. Go for it.
Just drink it. So then, Mom thought it was gonna be at her house. I thought it was gonna be at the Fogs, and then it was at mine. Sent it the text, and then Rosemary called me and said, "Why'd you send it the text? I think we are gonna do it here." And I said, "What? Oh my gosh! Well, let me know." And the one thing I said, going back a little bit, I said to Rosie, I go, "Hey, here's the deal. If I host it at my house, because the Killmonds have not seen your house, and you really do
Oh,
live
they'll have to go up and
2
look.
minutes away from me. And of course, James and Michelle it's always, riding on the line. So it's like they're going to come to dinner, but Michelle and one of the kids is flying back that night and need to leave at like 7:30. So we got to start this thing at about 3:30 to have dinner at 5 to have these engagement cakes at 6ish. Pop the champagne. This is what we are talking about on the sidelines. We are insane. So when it does actually happen, we're totally prepared, Marie. But so we're like, oh my gosh. So, and we're thinking we're coming home from the wine weekend, which was about 3.5, 4 hours away. So I'm like, we have got to get in the car by like 10 a.m.
Quick sidebar. Therefore, not in Northern California. That's called Central California.
Okay. I mean, semantics. Fine. I said 4 hours
Look,
outside
I'm going
Los
to get out
Angeles.
Google Maps right now.
Yes.
and
I
I'm
already did
Oh,
10
God,
minutes
you're-
ago.
Oh my gosh.
So Central California, where I was. So we kind of mapped out what we needed to do. I ordered the food before we even left.
Well, but where you were,
But I
where
was
you
saying
were.
to Rosemary, I said, here's the deal. They have not seen your house. They should want to see your house. I'm sure you'd be excited to show them. I can't have you all of a sudden in the middle of this, like 7 people leave to go up on a tour up at your house for 45 minutes. And we're all sitting here twiddling our thumbs.
the timeline.
What, until you come back? Well, because we're on this tight timeline crunch. And
The
I'm like,
turnaround for
On top of which, you are also still thinking there is a big announcement, so we can't be missing half of the party and then trying to
100%.
time that announcement out. Right? Good gosh.
and
Yeah, the surprise you're helping plan for someone else
Yes.
that isn't telling you is a tough
Right.
timeline.
It's a plan anticipation, John. Calm down.
nice.
Planticipation. Interesting. I love that.
I think I got the episode title right there. Nailed it. All right.
Well, I don't know. I was going to go with
whatever.
ding dongs and Twinkies.
So
Liz is a human ding dong.
really right now. So I was just, so I kind of laid that out. I said, hey, only one person that's going to be here, the boyfriend or fiance.
How dare you? Just leave the poor kid
There's
alone.
no
Oh my
pressure.
God.
Yeah, no. Obviously, we're lunatics. So I said, there's only one person that hasn't seen, that has not seen my house. So
Which is Nick, right?
Right. So really, that's why I was trying to kill two birds with one stone. But I cannot.
This was genius on your part too.
But,
to really
I
point
really
this out.
can't have you all leave
For sure.
because you're too close. I don't have the golf cart yet to zip you up.
Oh
Back
my
and-
God! But even then, you can't do 7 people on one golf cart. This would
Right.
not work.
So I then sent the invitations at my house. Rosie and I cleared. Yep, I agree with you. That makes sense. I sent the invitations at my house. Within the hour, Rosie calls and said, "Why'd you send that?" I go, "Because I thought we agreed upon it was at my house." No, I think we are going to have it at my house. And I'm like, oh, yeah, Vaz. So then I have to send a text, update everybody. It's going to be at Rosie's house.
This is also the night before you left town, so you weren't even together on the trip yet, and already
And you're trying to figure all this stuff
fully
out.
kafangled.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get
Kafangled.
tons of things done because not only the wine weekend, it's
The
also
imminent New York trip.
New York, which Mark and Ethan came with me.
Yeah, then you guys made that decision in that day or two in there as well. You're like, oh, it's this work trip for me. Wait, maybe we bring my son and husband in the middle of the week. No big deal.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I mean that's a whole episode in itself.
Work from home.
Maybe that's what you get
Another
Mark to
state.
come in and talk about. Various trips to New York. Go on.
Yeah. So then basically it switched to Rosie's house and we'd ordered the food and a couple other details. Jenny was doing the 2 cakes, one with a heart on it.
I was responsible for appetizers. Good job, Katherine.
Those worked
You
out great,
did-
though, because it was
you
actually
did do good.
Michelle's birthday that day, right?
Yes. Oh, that was
Yeah.
the other reason we needed to have cake.
And we're like, gosh, they're going to overshadow her birthday with their engagement announcement.
And now, as a third wheel to these 2 apparatuses of the Liz and Rosie households, I was like, okay, you guys, we're gonna have this party the day you're coming back. You're gonna be out of town for a couple days. One of the ways to I know it's tough. Give us a list of stuff to do before you leave, so then it's not like, oh, we can't. It's oh my gosh, the day
Coming
we got
back to
was so
everything.
No, never.
But Rosie really said, she doesn't have little kids and her house pretty much stays the way it is, except for, and the rooms that it doesn't, say her bedroom or bathroom or whatever, that's not public space really. So I pressed her on that a couple times because you were very sweet and volunteered John to go up and help set up anything. And she really said, there's really not that much because we're ordering
ready to
food.
go.
And she was very non-pulsed. So,
Nonplussed.
oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that's
no,
what-
she was totally dead about this party. She was non-pulsed.
had no
She was like, I'm asleep. I don't give.
John has to correct me on this all the time. I always say non-pulsed. Non-pulsed. What the fuck?
That is fantastic. Oh, I'm non-pulsed. You don't have a pulse right now? Yeah, no. Totally dead
She
on that
really
topic.
was dead on it.
Dead.
Had no opinion, voiced nothing about it.
Which actually that makes more sense than nonplussed, I think, as a saying.
No, this is the problem. She then gets this
Now it's
justification.
mangled
She's like,
in there.
no, that's did
See,
that.
I'm getting you all on board. Webster
No.
Dictionary at it. Non-pulsed.
None of these things are correct.
Okay, so she was not very reactionary about the whole thing. And
She was not terribly concerned.
no,
Great.
she wasn't. And so I didn't want to pile it on. We did check enough of the boxes, beverages, ice, blah, 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 blah. So, we were
Martinelli's if
totally
necessary.
ready for a big engagement party. So,
Ridiculous.
but,
Oh yeah, actually, how come you didn't bring the champagne to this Knack recording? We would have cracked it open and
killed it,
enjoyed
yeah.
it. Yeah.
there'll be something to celebrate soon, I'm sure. So we had a great wine weekend, but then throughout there were little moments that we had to sort of say, oh, is that being taken care of or is that dialed in? So on and so forth.
Right.
I never could figure out how to redirect the food order to their house versus mine. So I'm like, I was having.
Oh, so it came to your house. I wondered. I remember,
makes
you
some
guys
sense now.
brought it in with you. So
Yeah.
that's what happened. It got delivered
Yeah.
to your house.
Yeah, because I couldn't in the app. It was like there was no redirect like an Uber where changed address.
Never mind. Change destination.
No, and I think it was ironic because it was related to Uber Eats. It was going to be the delivery service. But
Oh, well.
so I just waited at home until it came, which was right about the right time. I have learned I can't do appetizers because I am usually I mean, let's be honest. 15 minutes late. I'm never going to be the ringing of the doorbell 2 minutes before the party starts.
That's more like a Ginny. Ginny is very punctual.
Right.
Eric is like, if it was up to him, he would be early for everything, which is kind of irritating.
And we don't mean 2 minutes early.
Oh, no. I mean, this is
But
really,
parties, you can't be early because most of the time, most hostesses
They're
want
not ready.
you there
Yeah.
10 minutes
No.
before. They don't. So, I mean, I have had some friends notorious show up 10 to 15 minutes before.
It's like, sit in your car
7
outside.
o'clock.
Don't
And then,
go
but
up to
their
the
thing
door.
is always very sweet. Can I help? Can I help? Can I help with anything? And you're like, I'm in
can't-
my bathrobe still. Like, I'm not ready for this
not
party
what I
to
was
start.
ready for. No.
Right. I was hoping I would be 15 minutes late.
I had timed this out to not be doing anything except getting myself ready. I don't think
can't
you
help
can
with
help
that.
with that.
Yeah.
So yes, you've been forced, Liz, to do appetizers a couple times, which is challenging.
Yeah, I have know thyself. I make an amazing charcuterie platter.
But for your own entertaining, like at your house,
because there was just an element that I was like, I need to do these like little shrimp. Like, what the hell was I thinking?
Well, it's
They were
also-
like basically hand passed hors d'oeuvres.
The
Like
appetizer is the prep and bring it there.
Yeah.
Oh, and then
That's another layer, yeah.
re-prep it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
it was a lot.
I put chips and dip in a bowl, and they stay where I put them at my place.
Yeah, I was
And
trying to
then
do a
I eat
little
all,
elevated.
but-
And then
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
that elevation is the problem. Yeah, because Katherine, got to do the appetizers, and I was there when they arrived, and it was like, even still, because we were doing a cheese platter, and it was like, this is still a fair amount of work on
minimal
site.
compared to a Liz cheese platter, but it was still
good,
like,
though.
you know.
It was 90%, it was 95% maybe.
It was good.
All right, well, good.
So yeah, I mean, it just but
Look, I will also say I don't love doing appetizer. I mean, I it's always kind of hit and
You
miss
love
what I get.
appetizers and salad. That's what you want to
I
bring.
mean, whatever.
no. Somebody said it was funny because Kirk goes, "Oh, what's Katherine bringing? Salad?" Because
that always is, and it ends up being because like other things get taken. I used to do the mashed potatoes for a couple of years. Nobody remembers that. Rosemary took it over.
No, because you didn't put salt in it. We had
That is not true.
we had to take you
Rosemary
out of
puts
it.
like her coconut butter in it. Nobody seems to be upset about that. I did the Trader Joe's frozen little ones in a. They were good. I don't know.
You did fine. Yeah, I almost remember, but I mostly remember just that it was such a. Rosie and Kirk, it ended up being not a real production, but like them doing mashed potatoes was like, oh, this is a different, somehow you bringing this, crock pot in is somehow more effort than previous.
Yeah, I don't
That's all I
know.
remember.
But somehow I got into this like salad, which I am probably the only one.
Mark loves your salad.
I will always eat the salad. I mean, but
Mark
that's
is
partly
the same way. It's like, isn't Katherine bringing that salad with? Is it cranberries or what?
I like to do for Christmas. I like to do one that's cranberries, goat cheese, mixed lettuce, and like candied pecans. Like that's.
Are you about to say that other holidays it's different?
Yes,
It is
Okay.
different. Yeah,
I do like.
I'm not I like food, but I didn't fully realize.
Well, it's funny because there's more of a summery salad, but I can't eat avocado, so I usually get in trouble because I don't put avocado in it. But that one's like tomato and shaved carrots, and you do more like a summery salad. But then for fall, like for Thanksgiving, I'll do.
that's called the Peter Rabbit because it's the garden salad.
Oh, that's cute.
I just made that up, everybody.
No one calls it that.
You're such a jerk. Boom. Liar, liar. Yeah. And then for Thanksgiving, I do like a fall one. I like to do either dried apricots that I cut up or like a
Yes.
golden raisin. And sometimes I'll do the pecans again, but I'll do sunflower seeds or like some other kind of fallish or I'll cut up. It's kind of a lot of work. It's ridiculous that I do this, but I'll cut up
I think
apples.
ice and drinks are probably the most work.
Shut up, which is what you do.
No.
Or store-bought bread.
Yeah, the bread thing. We need to talk about that. Okay.
Yeah. So
Take it or leave it.
Hey, I'm happy to bake some bread, but also off-site. Then there's a travel time. How the fuck am I
And
supposed to
then
get that
not
there
hot. Like
warm?
what?
No, it doesn't work. You got to do the bread on site.
Yep, I agree.
yeah,
which is basically not allowed.
I was
Also,
very proud
Katherine,
that the
I
appetizers
love
turned
that you
out
have
what-
all these
oh.
varieties of salad. Too bad they're all just ranch salad to me. I appreciate you
And
a
ranch.
lot, but it's just Katherine brought a salad. Great,
ranch.
not the sweet stuff. Put ranch on it. Done.
Ranch.
Every holiday.
Really? Well, I think the party turned out great at Rosie's house. Perfect weather, looked gorgeous outside.
It was pretty amazing to like wrangle everybody for a
Oh my God.
huge group shot. We did an all guy shot and then we did an all girls shot. And then we tried to do everybody, which I don't know.
And there's
I haven't seen any of
absolutely no
these.
pressure. But Nick wasn't in all the photos. So I'm just saying, dude.
Look, it's a historical record.
Of the
Oh,
event.
that's a good
Yeah.
way of putting it. And because not everybody was there, it's not a true family portrait.
Well, I
Well,
can
look,
Photoshop him in. Don't worry about that.
Well, look, that ends up being the case for almost all of our family photos. That somebody's
Somebody's not
missing.
there, yeah.
Somebody's missing or there's an addition.
Yeah. I was very impressed for how long Eric, Sarah, and Adam stayed. They were like, oh my gosh. Like, sometimes Eric, a lot of times we'll take separate cars, which we took separate cars this time, just in case. Because I like Eric to have the Irish exit.
Irish goodbye. Irish exit. Yes, that's correct.
I was
Oh,
like,
you're getting it.
oh, was that wrong? Oh, shit. We
Yes.
all were like,
Irish goodbye, French exit. Obviously very culturally sensitive.
oh, French exit. Okay, Irish goodbye. So give Eric the option of leaving. So he brought Adam and Sarah came with me. Not that we couldn't swap when it was leaving time.
Although, didn't you?
We had kind of arrived together. He followed me there, so it was fine. But it was more for the leaving. It was giving him an option for leaving. But he hung out forever. I thought Eric and first of all, Adam would have stayed forever.
I was going to say, Adam is never wanting to leave.
Well,
if he finds something that interests him
yeah.
or a nook that he can just do his little video game, like what he's looking on the phone, the YouTube, he's fine.
Yeah, he, which I feel like it is more of a development over the last couple of years where he's like, oh no, I can be with everybody and still on my phone. And, it feels like.
Just a little background for those of you maybe listening for the first time, Adam has autism, so.
Yeah. And sometimes, particularly in the past, would be more like he'd go off in a separate room and just want to be. But now he likes to be kind of in the action, just sitting on a couch, like even if he's on his phone or whatever. But at
Rosemary's,
Rosemary's,
dessert coming.
Oh,
He is
he's
not
going
leaving.
anywhere.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but at Rosemary's, he found their closet full of old games and baby toys or like toddler toys. Oh my God, he had to look at everything.
What I
and
like
all
is
the DVDs.
The DVDs.
Oh
He's
my
like,
God.
what is it? Do they have any wiggles in here?
I mean, that's what it was. So yeah, he looked at first. He found the cabinet of like regular movies and was looking at all of those, even though he doesn't know what any of those are. I mean, as far as we know, he has not expressed to us that he's interested in any of this.
In the
but
Adam version of the world versus a kid that's looking at like baseball cards, need it, got it, need it. He's just like,
Yeah,
nope,
pretty much.
never seen it, never
don't
seen
know,
it.
don't know, never heard
not
of
the
it.
Wiggles,
but
not the Wiggles.
weirdly, I mean, there's no way to know what Adam knows because he's not really able to demonstrate, which often is the problem with
The verbal.
Yeah. So,
element.
and definitely within the autism community, there is this idea of like presumed competence. Assume that this person knows a lot more than they are able to prove to you. So stop asking them to prove it to you. Just talk to them like they understand and, they're in the world. He's been here for 19 years. Maybe he knows everything that's happening. Don't baby it down. Don't talk down to him, all that. But it is very interesting because he's still very interested in things that skew extremely young,
Right.
which is part of a comfort mechanism as we understand it.
Well,
So,
that's why I think he can sit there with all of us, but he's got his comfort thing going on.
yeah, he's got like a wiggle song.
Well, that
on
and he's
loop
also
or whatever.
tall, like almost as tall as all of us now. So he's like, oh, I just fit in. This is great. I can hang with you guys now. I'm
It
your
is-
size.
It's funny. Out of the corner of my eye, he is Eric's size. So I will see him and be like, no, wrong person. Okay.
Yeah, but Sarah's funny because at first, we're dealing with a lot of young adult, borderline teenagers. And so the energy levels can really go up and down with all of them. I mean, there are times I look over at Ethan, his head like on a table, like practically passed out. And you're like, sit up, have something to eat, have some water. I'm fine. Yeah, no. And Jack and Luke, and so Sarah, I felt like started to perk up because one of her best friends, her cousin Teresa, was there. Yeah.
Yeah, she stayed a long time too. Yeah. So in terms of like the whole party, that was my little like side thing, just being like, oh, the little Kennedy clan did pretty good. Okay, good job, you guys. Because sometimes Eric is like, I'm gonna go. I've been here long enough. See ya. And sometimes Sarah gets a migraine and is like,
Out.
yeah,
Bye.
But anyway, sorry to digress on that little.
I also want to say this about the party and the length with which your family hung out at the party. That house has a great flow. It's got a good.
it's got a lot of
It's got a lot of ins and outs to the rooms, so you're not trapped, and it's not a one way where you're like, oh, I went in there, and now I got to have a conversation because there's no way out, and people
I could just walk through.
Shoot.
Ooh, that's my den. You're right.
So like there's some good flow and energy in that house, and besides, then there's like it's almost like an old like a monastery. There's like little alcove rooms where you're like completely cut off from the rest of the party. You could just go have a conversation in that front room, or the kitchen feels like it's separate but easily accessible, and then you can get outside. But
it was so nice to just have everybody together, and
and of course we did the big hold hands and do the prayer.
Oh yeah. Grandmary
we really lean into
something,
Mom, but and then Kirk likes to add on a little something sometimes.
Oh, did he? I don't remember if
Kirk
he did this.
Quite often does a little. He'll be like, for Ukraine or for our troops, or like depending on what's going on, he'll maybe add a little something. And depending on who wants to hold, like little. Morgan was like, I want to hold Aunt Liz's hand. I was like, oh, I'm in good favor right now for some reason. Yes, come hold my hand.
List. Yeah. Okay.
You never know. So I think it was lovely, and just for like I said, we hadn't seen James in over 2 years.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
So long, it's weird.
But that's what so many of you all have experienced, where you haven't seen friends or family for a significant amount of time, especially they live
if there's travel
any
involved.
Distance or travel. You just haven't had the opportunity to see them because of COVID. So hopefully that's going to start changing.
And not that we wouldn't have enjoyed it in the exact same way at Easter or at any of the winter holidays or fall holidays. When do we ever get together in March and do a big old party and have a big thing? We almost never had like a big party for Michelle.
Yeah, so March. Yeah, March is not when they lived here. Yes, because there were 2 birthdays at least in March.
Well, because it's her birthday and William's birthday. They're very close together.
So then, so we'd have reasons to get together when they lived here. But it was great. And so to circle all the way back, that's what this podcast is going to be about, where we have podcasts that are topic or theme driven.
Yeah.
And then other times it'll be because who we have in. It's sort of get to know them.
Apparently we can do this too. Something that just happened. We could just talk about that a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Keep you completely up to date on our lives.
On some things. So Rosie and I were completely wrong. It was just a family dinner get together, not an engagement announcement.
Yeah, well, So I think next up...
2 crazy aunts.
Yeah. I think next up is going to be having Mom in and get some history stories. I mean, we'll see how much...
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like there's stories that some of us know, or that all of us know, or think we know for sure. And then there's got to be so many things that we just have no idea. Because, she's lived a whole life and she didn't tell us all about it. But I want to know.
Certainly the first time that she was on the podcast, she dove right in with a story we weren't expecting, but it was like, oh, well, that starts 30 some odd years into your life. Okay.
But I do want to backtrack.
There's more to that then.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I want a little more origin story.
Yeah, the origin story. Okay, so. Yeah. Well, gosh, I guess that's it for this episode. And, more to come, and different types and styles and combinations of people. And, please subscribe and definitely comment and leave us 5 stars. And you could follow us on all of our social media, which is Family DynamiKs with a K for the Killmonds.
And also subscribe to our Patreon.
Right, which is also Family DynamiKs with a K. So I guess thank you for listening to Family DynamiKs.